Hi there, it's Tamara Dorris, your real estate coach. And today I'm super excited. I have a new friend that I can't wait to introduce you to. And you're going to hear about something that all real estate agents should pay attention to. Today we have Andrew Yentzer. And the way I came across Andrew, I'm just going to tell you, real quick, give you a story, is I always get things about referral agents and do this and this, and I never pay attention. But for some reason, when I saw, I think it was an ad out on Facebook, and I saw it, and I'm like, this makes so much sense. And unlike a bunch of stuff, it really resonated like it was a good idea. And so I bought it. It was not expensive. We'll talk more about that later. And I loved it. And I'm like, I want all my people to know about this and read this and do this program because it's kind of a no-brainer. So with that introduction, Andrew, I'm gonna leave it to you. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really, really happy that you're here to help educate and inspire my audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on, Tamara. I'm super excited to talk to you and your agents today. I think that my personal story that I'm going to share, I think a lot of you guys will resonate with. I got into real estate really not too long ago in 2020 during the COVID pandemic. So,
which honestly surprised me when I saw, and don't take this the wrong way, but I'm like, he seems really young. How did he come up with this amazing product? So that's a compliment. I don't mean it any other way. But so I want everyone to understand how you got into this. So if you don't mind, just say how a new agent came up with this idea and that's doing really well now. So just go ahead and tell your story if you're okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of stumbled upon it by accident in a sense. So I'll kind of go back to the beginning and go through the whole timeline of how I got here to discovering being a real estate referral agent just to begin with, and kind of how I decided to make that my main gig as far as income generation and work. So back in 2020, as I mentioned, I got my real estate license right there in March, which is kind of when everything started shutting down. So I was like super scared. I had ended up joining a real estate team, a local team, really awesome broker. And we went into our first team meeting and they told me that all the courts were shut down in the city. And so we had no idea how we were going to do real estate deals.
Right.
So I was like, man, what in the world did I get myself into? I was a little scared, but I said, I decided I was going to do this. So I'm gonna push forward and we'll just kind of see where this takes me. Well, as anyone that knows that's been in the industry since 2020, that fear did not last for very long as far as, am I going to be able to get business or not? Because the market just exploded after that. And I think I was, like, for the most part, largely unprepared for what was about to happen to me because of the team that I was on and the training I got and the prospecting that I got myself into. I started getting a ton of business. It really wasn't, in my opinion, that hard to do back then. Really, I knew nothing about real estate coming in. I had run other businesses in the past. I had opened a gym at one point. I was doing photography with my wife. So I kind of had my hand in a lot of things, and I wanted to try real estate and just kind of see what that would do for me. And so I joined this team. I said, I know nothing about real estate. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. So I did exactly what my broker told me to do, and business started coming my way. Surprise, surprise.
So, but let me just say, as an old seasoned veteran here, you would be amazed that I would say probably 95% of agents do not do that because they have their own fears and hangups and are scared. So good for you that you were able to internalize what he said and just go get the job done, because that's what it is just following the instructions, right?
Absolutely. That's all it is. There's no magic secret. It's just, the tried and true methods still work. There's no new innovations that make everything easy. You just do good old hard work and things will happen for you.
Boom.
So I started accumulating a ton of business, and, I went through the end of 2020 and into 2021. And honestly, I kind of got really overwhelmed at how much business that I had because I
Are
was
you
working.
comfortable sharing with us what, as far as units or transactions?
Sure. So I'm in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and our market is probably a little bit below the national average as far as price points and everything, but we do get a lot of military coming through this area, so we're a little bit insulated and a little bit different than other markets, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So in 2020, the last half of the year when I was actually doing transactions, I did about 19 deals, I think.
Wow.
My very first
That's
year,
great.
or first half year rather. And then going into 2020, I did about 40 deals that year.
Bravo. So rare. That's awesome. Good for you.
Thank you. So, needless to say, I had a ton on my plate. I had a lot of transactions going on simultaneously, and even being part of a real estate team, which I highly recommend for any new agent, because you get so much support. You really do need you really do need all that support and people to come around you and help you out, and encourage you and push you forward, because this industry is really hard. So I found that incredibly helpful. But even with that, it still was a lot. So going maybe toward the end of 2021, I just, I started realizing that I was working all the time, and I had previously been in the Navy, and my job in the Navy, I was gone about 80% of the time away from my home. So I didn't really get to see my wife. I had just had my first kid when I was in the Navy. I didn't get to see my kid. And so I had decided to get out of the Navy because of that.
Well, that
Now,
explains where you, at least in part, where you got your discipline from.
yes, thank you. So in 2021, when I had all these deals going on simultaneously, I kind of felt like I was in that same position that I was in the Navy. Even though I was home and I was able to see my family every day, I was working so much that I felt like I wasn't really seeing them or spending time with them. And it was kind of stressful. My kids used to ask me all the time, Dad, when are we going to get time to play with you?
Right.
And, I just unfortunately had to say, hopefully we'll find some time later.
Right.
So it was really kind of disheartening in a sense, because I didn't have the time I wanted to be able to do the things that I want to do, which was mainly to spend time with my family. Because at the time I had two children, a daughter and a son, and they were at that age where they really wanted to spend time with dad. So, and I got to hear it. So I was, trying to figure out what to do at that point. I I kind of thought, well, maybe I'll just back off of real estate a little bit. Maybe I just won't take so many transactions. So I actually tried to do that. There was one problem that cropped up, is that in real estate, as you guys know, you don't know what you're getting into when you get a transaction.
Right.
It could be the smoothest transaction in the world, or it could be a nightmare.
Yes.
It could be almost no work at all. It could take up your entire life. So even though I sought to reduce my transaction load, I find myself working just as much, but I wasn't making as much money. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I really didn't know what I was going to do. And I had kind of been contemplating some other options. But then one day, I actually got an email in my inbox. It was a marketing email from a referral brokerage firm. And at the time, I had no idea what a referral agent was until I got this email. And so I clicked on it just out of curiosity. And they started talking about a real estate referral agent, which is somebody who simply generates business and leads and refers them out to other real estate agents to actually run the transactions. And I had kind of thought about doing that, something like that before, because we had a team meeting one day where my broker made the comment, the easiest money you'll ever make in real estate is sending referrals. And I was like, yeah, that kind of makes a lot of sense. This is something that is, seems like common sense. We all know this. Sending referrals is super easy. You have a piece of business, and we generally do this when we have a client that maybe we're selling their house and they're moving out of state and they need to buy somewhere else. or maybe they're coming into state and they need to sell where they currently are. That's generally when we seek to send referrals. And so I started looking into this a little bit. It kind of got my brain moving. And one of the big things I was trying to figure out, well, the normal real estate referral fee is around 25%. I don't know about every market in the US, but I think most markets probably generally around there.
Pretty consistent.
Mm-hmm. So I started thinking, well, okay, if I actually do this, then I have to generate 4 times as much business to make the same as one paycheck. Mm-hmm. And that didn't really make a ton of sense to me. I was like, okay, well, I can do this, but it's still not really gonna, I still got to do a ton of work. So then I got another email from that same referral company talking about how you can actually get a 100% commission split by sending referrals. So I thought, well, okay, that's interesting. So now I don't necessarily have to do a broker split with my broker, and I can keep 100% of my referral fee commission. So that kind of solved the problem a little bit. And then I actually started breaking down the numbers. So I kind of did like a commission flow, and I took, the average home price in the US, and I kind of broke it off. Referral fee off the top down this side, and then the commission to the active agent that's doing the transaction down this side. And what I found is that after the active agent does their broker split, and they have their own expenses as well, such as marketing, photographer, transaction coordinator, things like that, the difference in the commission on either side really wasn't that big.
Really small. And most brokers, at least in California, they have a much smaller pinch that they take out of it, right? Mm-hmm. Than the average split. So
yeah,
there's that.
So I found that really interesting. So I started thinking, well, okay, if I can make almost the same amount of money, if not maybe the same in some cases, depending on your referral fee, what if I just spent all my time just generating leads and sending those leads to other agents that can work the deal? Because that's really what I felt like I was the best at anyways, was getting the business. It was really just doing the transactions that was causing a lot of stress. And, you can't really control your schedule because you're always at the mercy of your clients and things like that. So I thought, well, if I do this lead generation service where I refer all my business out, I can control my schedule. I can work when I want to work. I can take vacations when I want to take vacation. I don't necessarily need to hire somebody to cover for me when I'm gone. It really seemed like a win-win scenario for everyone involved. For myself, because I could send referrals and get a referral fee. For other agents, because I would send them business that they wouldn't otherwise normally get. And for the clients, because I could actually, I've only been in real estate 4 years. I do think I'm a good agent, but I know there's better agents out there. So I'd rather my clients go with somebody who's way more experienced than me and have a better overall experience, get a better deal on their home, things like that.
So you're even talking about in your own hyper local area that you, if you get a lead, you would give it to someone in your own area, because this is a whole like mind blown thing that you're talking about here.
Yes, that's exactly right. And so what I discovered is that also there's really no one size fits all real estate agent for every single kind of transaction out there. Every client's different. They have different personalities, different communication styles. There's obviously different types of transactions, commercial, residential, land, urban, rural. Right. So what I found is that it really makes more sense for me to match my clients with an agent that's going to be ideal for their specific situation. So I started accumulating a number of partner agents in my local area for kind of each type of transaction. And I would take notes on, their personalities. And that way, when I went to interview my clients and figure out what they were looking for, what they were trying to do, I could easily match them with somebody that I knew that was going to give them a good experience and that was going to close the deal and do a good job for them.
Got it. Makes sense. So how did you come up with your product?
Yeah. So my product, what I found is that when I went to become a real estate referral agent, I did a lot of research because I was thinking, well, surely if this is a thing and it's going to work out, then somebody else out there must be doing this or must be teaching other people how to do this. And what I found is there really wasn't, which is kind of what gave me a little hesitation at first, because I said, okay, nobody is doing this. I don't have any idea if this is going to work out. Well, thankfully, I ended up taking the plunge and doing it anyways, and it did work out. But, after realizing that this system can work for people, I thought there's got to be other agents out there that are in the same kind of situation that I am in.
Well,
And
now you have a brand new baby, so your schedule is
yes.
Right?
Absolutely. Yep. I'm up to 4 kids now. I have a newborn and a toddler in the house.
It's a lot.
So
good for you.
Things get crazy around the house. And if I were still in real estate sales, it would be very, very, very difficult for me to do.
I agree. Andrew, let me ask you the question. And I know that this is what's on everyone's mind right now. As agents, especially us old seasoned ones, it's really, really challenging. It's easy to say, okay, I want to get what Andrew's selling. I want to buy it. I want to use it, and I'll, use it for other agents in other areas. But when it comes to someone calling and saying, hey, Tamara, will you list my home? I consider myself a referral agent, but not local. So that's where this is really mind-boggling, and where I want you to speak to it. So you are telling me if someone calls, not family or something like that, but if someone just says, hey, can you list my house? You're going to find an agent in your local area to refer that person out to.
That is exactly right. That's what
that's crazy to me, and I love that you're talking about it. But that's a mindset shift right there.
Oh, absolutely. It is absolutely mindset shift. So that's what I would do personally. And I have nothing against real estate agents. I did it myself. I love the job.
Right,
it just didn't fit for me and my lifestyle. And I know there's other people out there that love it. And those are the people that I want to give the business to, because, our clients do need help. They do need their home listed, and they need the transaction run for them. And I think it's a win-win situation for everybody if I can match that person with the best listing agent that's going to do a good job for them. So in my mind, I'm doing a better service for my clients than I was by simply listing the home myself. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes total sense. Now, just for clarification, do you not consider yourself a referral agent for other areas? Or is that part of it?
Oh, it's absolutely part of it.
Okay, so can we talk about that a little bit, how that works?
Yeah. So as a real estate referral agent, I'm not only looking for clients locally, there's really no boundaries at all. I can find business anywhere in the US. I can find business anywhere in the world. I can prospect internationally and try to find business in other countries and send referrals there. I think that's truly the beauty about being a referral agent, is you're not limited to your local market.
Right.
Especially if you have a market. A lot of times, people kind of blame the market on their success as an agent. They say, well, the market's not good, or the commission splits aren't good, or the price point here is super low. Well, as a referral agent, you don't necessarily have to prospect in your local market. I can be in Virginia Beach and prospect for clients in California, where you are, and send them your way.
The price point in California. I'm trying to be a referral agent. Yeah. Don't send them to me.
The price points in California are a lot higher than they are here. So if I do business in California, I'm actually making a lot more money than I would if I was just doing transactions here locally.
I want to make sure everyone heard that. You can use Andrew's program, and you can choose the geographical location that you want to focus on, even if you live somewhere else. Thank you, social media. So that's a beautiful component, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I think my product is really for, in my opinion, there's kind of maybe 3 different audiences that would really benefit. One is people like me, kind of the typical stressed out realtor that is just looking to get some more freedom, more time, and maybe even earn some more money by doing so. The other one is maybe you're not doing well in real estate, and you're just, things aren't working out for whatever reason. You want to get another job. You can keep your license and still make real estate referrals, whether locally or otherwise, and still make money with it. And then the other one is, and then the other market is just people that are looking for a really good side hustle to get into. I know a lot of people are looking for work from home, kind of where they don't have to go out and travel or go to an office. You can do the work of a real estate agent 100%, or a real estate referral agent 100% from home.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I cannot wait when this is over to share this interview with like thousands of former students, because I teach real estate at the college level, and so many want to segue into it, but they have a full-time job. So what an amazing option, right? Such an amazing option for people.
And that's exactly what I tell people who are looking to get into real estate but aren't necessarily ready to commit full time is, hey, do referrals. See if you can generate the business, because that's really what a lot of people consider the hardest part of real estate is finding the clients, right?
It is.
So what better way to test to see if you can do it than to just generate business and then send referrals to another agent to work while you kind of transition your way there, so you're not necessarily working the transactions and interfering with your other job.
Right. So another question came to me, and I want to be really clear. I don't expect you to give any of your secrets away. So if it's something like, oh, that's in the program, that's totally fine to tell me. But when you're saying that you're prospecting, that means you're actually doing something to get leads, and then you're talking to those people before you're referring them, because you're not just getting leads in and then just sending them somewhere. You have to have those conversations. So that's part of the job, is getting to know that client and what they need, and lead follow-up.
Right? Yes, exactly. Okay. Exactly. I like to send, there's a lot of different ways that you could do it. My program, I teach what I do personally. There are referral agencies out there that will get Google pay-per-click leads and then sell those leads away as referrals. I don't like doing that. I like finding the business, whether I'm prospecting from my own sphere of influence or I'm finding leads online on social media. Facebook groups are a great place to prospect, in my opinion, especially non-locally.
Well, and when you say prospect in the groups, like there are some real estate groups that I'm sure we all know of that have 10,000, 100,000 people that are very stringent on the rules of posting. Right. So are you saying you private message those people, or you just develop relationships with them?
Well, I'm not necessarily going into those kinds of groups necessarily. Okay. Yeah, I like non-real estate related groups.
So in your non-real estate groups, still those groups also are pretty persnickety. So have you found, and it's okay to say, Tamara, this is in the program, because I'm totally fine with that. Everyone needs to buy this program. It's not expensive. But do you give the step-by-step, like this is what you can say in some groups, or this is how you can advertise? This is what an ad looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do talk about some social media prospecting, but I mean, what I like to do is go into, so I'll give an example. I'm a part of a group that is, it's a fitness app. And so everyone that uses this fitness app is in this Facebook group. And it's a very, not necessarily a tight-knit community, but it's a pretty close community, because when people share, a particular fitness app, they have connections, because it's kind of like shared suffering when you do workouts together, even if it's virtually. So, people post in these groups all the time because it's a nationwide group. Hey, I'm moving to so-and-so. And you'll just see people ask the question, hey, I'm moving here. Does anyone know a real estate agent in the area, or something like that? And I see that stuff all the time, and you really just have to go in there and look for it. It's not that difficult to do.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I recommend finding groups that are, pertaining to your own hobbies. Figure out what you like to do, find Facebook groups that relate to that, and you already have an instant connection with somebody that's going to be in that group that might be looking to move. And if you provide valuable content in the groups as well, people will click on your profile and they'll see your information that you're a real estate agent.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So do you actually have it, like, I'm assuming you use Facebook a lot for this?
I do, yes.
So do you, on your Facebook profile, do you actually have it where it says referral agent, or do you just say real estate agent?
I have on my Facebook profile a link. So I use the term real estate advisor personally, which I think is super useful in a lot of ways. So I use the term real estate advisor, and I have a link on my Facebook profile that kind of goes to my virtual business card, which then has a bunch of resources for buyers and sellers. So I like to provide valuable content for people, even before I start having conversations with them.
Right, right. And that makes sense. Like I have a YouTube channel, I literally just started it, where it's for buyers and sellers, and it doesn't have to be local. It's the Sacramento real
Mhm.
estate professor, but it doesn't have to be local because I'm giving sellers and buyers advice. I'm not trying to drum up real estate business per se. You know what I mean? But I haven't got to the level where you are, where I'm like, I'll turn it down if it's a good listing. But because I think it's really important, and I'm an educator, and so like you, I want to provide education and information, and I think this is really a great way to segue into not pounding the pavement every day, knocking on doors, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think my product is also really good for just regular active real estate agents. You don't necessarily have to be a referral agent to get value out of this, because the main focus of my book is outgoing referrals, which we all know is sending a referral out to another agent. And a lot of normal agents just aren't looking for those opportunities necessarily.
Right.
They might get a prospect come in that's looking to buy in their area, and they'll just completely forget to ask them the question, hey, do you have a house to sell where you're moving from?
Right.
They aren't necessarily thinking this way. So what I hope to do for a lot of real estate agents is just start spurring that change of mindset to look for the outgoing referral opportunities that they wouldn't necessarily normally look for, because like we mentioned, it's easy money. If you can find that opportunity there, and all you have to do is find a real estate agent to work with them that's going to be a good fit and pass that contact information, make a really good introduction, that's an easy paycheck.
Yeah, yeah. So with that said, now let's go ahead and segue into, like, tell us about the product. I mean, we're gonna put a link under this. Will be on my YouTube channel, so we're gonna put a link so that they can find it easily. But tell us more about what's in the program.
Absolutely. So I have an ebook that is called Referral Agent Secret. And what I outline in the book is that there is really only three things that a referral agent needs to do on a daily basis. Number one is generate leads. Number two is make connections. So what that means is once I have interviewed that lead and I know what they're looking for, I'm going to connect them with an agent that fits well for them. So make connections. And number three is follow up. So the follow up really is once they get into a transaction, I'm going to follow up just to see where things are at and make sure things are going well, and see if there's any way I can help out during that process. What a lot of people will do when they get a client under contract with another agent is they'll forget to follow up. And sometimes that other agent forgets that they even got a referral.
It
And
happens.
they didn't send you a paycheck.
It happens. So I have a question for you. For example, my youngest daughter lives in Orange County, and those are $1 million homes that we're talking about.
Mhm.
So when she went to buy a house, even though I'm licensed, I don't work in that area, so I certainly don't feel confident. As you and I have discussed before, we want to serve our clients as well as we can. So what I did is I found 2 or 3 agents for them to interview. Do you recommend that, or are you like, I'm going to interview this person myself and this is going to be the good fit? Or do you offer them options?
So it depends on the client. And
Okay.
I go over this in my book as well, but
Oh,
I'm
good.
willing
Okay.
to share it here. Yeah. So if I have a client that I have a really close connection with, and they trust me, I've built a good amount of trust, and I know exactly what they're looking for, and I know an agent in the area where they're looking that I know is going to be a good fit, I will tell them, like, I
This
have
is
this
the
partner
best.
agent. Yeah, they are going to help you out. They are going to be awesome for you. And I talk them up and I say, I'm gonna connect you. I introduce them. And then I always let them know after the fact, like, hey, I understand that sometimes things don't work out. Maybe there's a personality conflict or something. If this, for whatever reason, is not working out, let me know, because I have a backup agent that
Got
I
it.
will
Got it.
connect you with.
Okay.
If
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so and then on the other hand, if there are some people where it's very clear, where there's, you can kind of feel their vibe on whether or not they have that full amount of trust. You can say, okay, look, I've got 3 partner agents in that area. Let me give you their contact information. You can interview all 3 of them and let me know which one you like.
Good. I like that. I like that. Very good. So when you're calling those agents, you're saying, look, I'm going to give client A a choice. There's 2 other agents in your market, and she's going to, he or she's going to interview all of you. And then I'll be following up to see which one she chooses.
Absolutely. And that even ends up being better for the client in the long run, because when that agent knows they're competing with their agents, they're going to offer their best service.
Absolutely. Now, you talked about the ebook, and I think I'm only about halfway through it. But there's a lot more files in this program. So tell our listeners what else they're going to get besides an ebook.
Absolutely. So I do include the audiobook in there as an extra bonus. So I know a lot of people, it's hard to, find time in your schedule to read.
Yeah. Especially agents driving around all the time.
Exactly.
Or referral agents yet.
Yep. So it's perfect for people that are driving around all day. You can throw the audiobook on and listen to it. There's also 3 separate guides in there. We talked about the big 3 that a referral agent needs to do: generate leads, make connections, and follow up. So there's a separate guide in there. If you don't want to even go through the whole book, you can just read those 3 guides and pretty much know everything that you'll need to do. And there are interview questions for your clients, so you can get to know exactly what they're looking for. There's interview questions for the agents, and then tips on how to make those good matches. Because the reality of it, if you don't make a good match, they're not going to have a good experience. They might run off and find another agent. You probably won't get paid at the end of the day. So that's really important. So I really stress on that part as very important. And then there is a real estate referral agent resource guide that I put in there, which is a compilation of websites, resources, phone and computer apps, books that I personally use to run my business. Excellent. So everything that I use, I put in there, and I update that as well. It's on a Google Doc, so I keep it updated. If I find a new and better product that I'm using, I'm going to put it in there. I also have in there my personal work schedule. So I have a schedule in there on how you can do all the prospecting of a referral agent in less than 3 hours a day, which is actually a ton of prospecting, in my opinion. You can get a lot of business just working 3 hours a day. It doesn't take that much. I include passive and active prospecting methods in there, including phone calling, text messaging, social media, and then things like postcard mailers, using handwritten notes, and things like that. So there's a lot of good information in there. I also have some other tips and tricks for business, like how to stay organized, how to keep your files organized on your computer, and things like that. I've got book recommendations that I think are really useful for real estate referral agents in that resource guide as well.
Well, and I will just say, and I say this, again, for all my listeners or viewers, I literally bought this program, this product, and was so impressed with it that I contacted Andrew. He doesn't know me from Adam. And I'm like, dude, you've got something good here. I'm going to interview you. So it's underpriced at $27. It's underpriced. But it would be foolish not to get this, even if you are still an active real estate agent, because as he said, why not work a little less, running all over the place, going crazy, and refer out a little more. Especially, I have a lot of followers who are getting like 5 or 10 years away from retirement, and so this is such a beautiful option. Or new agents, right? New agents.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and my biggest sales pitch for the book, it costs $27, which is, if you were to make 1 extra outgoing referral in the next year, you would more than 100x your investment, 200x, even 500x your investment, depending on your market. It's really a no-brainer.
It's not even the cost of a lockbox. My gosh. I mean, seriously, it's like gas to go from here to your next listing appointment. It's literally nothing. So yeah, everyone needs to get this.
I wanted to make it available to anybody, because when I was trying to figure this out for myself and I had no idea what I was doing, I couldn't find anything out there. And I knew there were other people that were looking for the same thing. So I wanted to make it easily and readily available to anybody that needed the information.
Excellent. Excellent. Andrew, thank you so much for being here. Listeners, again, the link is below. Click on it, buy it. I know you're going to love this program. And I am so excited to bring it to all of you. Andrew, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Tamara. It's a pleasure. Have a good day.
You too.